Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include: I had an interview with Mayor McDonald. We had the snow sculptures from the Winter Carnival. Highway's loader almost went bottom up near the hockey rink. More, so please stay tuned.
Meet Lindsay, a member of the War Amps Champ program for child amputees. From the day she was born, Champ has been there with counseling and access to the very best in artificial limbs. Today, Lindsay is an active 7-year-old who enjoys school and her computer. Through your support, Champ encourages young amputees to use computers so they can keep up with their schoolwork. The War Amps, still much to do for champs like Lindsay.
As I mentioned last week, the Burgeo Action Committee traveled to St. John's to meet with Mr. Crosby. Mayor McDonald was in our studio this past week for an update on that meeting. Mayor McDonald, I understand that the Action Committee traveled to St. John's on Friday, February 26th to meet with John Crosby. Can you tell us what happened at that meeting?
That's true, Dave. The Action Committee and representatives of the Fishermen's Union as well went to St. John's to meet with Mr. Crosby concerning the Burgeo plant. And as you're aware, we've been trying to get this meeting for some time now. And the reason why we didn't have the meeting in the past was Mr. Crosby was waiting for the investigation into sea freeze to be complete. It's my understanding that it has been completed. So we traveled to St. John's and met with Mr. Crosby. And I guess the plan was that Mr. Crosby was going to meet with Mr. Barry from Sea Freeze Friday morning. Unfortunately, that meeting didn't take place due to a death in the family of Mr. Barry's. So Mr. Crosby went ahead and met with us. And I guess the people at the meeting, the Action Committee, and along with MHA Dave Gilbert and MP Roger Simmons as well, we all agreed that it was certainly a positive meeting. At this time, I don't want to get into too much detail on what was discussed at the meeting because Mr. Crosby is supposed to meet with Mr. Barry this week in Ottawa. But I will say that the agreement between Sea Freeze and the federal government was broken in a number of ways. Mr. Crosby was certainly not pleased with that. And after he meets with Mr. Barry in Ottawa this week, he's supposed to get back to us and give us the information that came out of that meeting. So we were very pleased with the meeting as a result of Burgeo. And I guess my personal opinion is that I see some light there, and where there's light, there's hope. And hopefully this thing will be resolved, but it's not going to be resolved overnight.
Okay, were there any representatives from Sea Freeze at all at your meeting?
No, there weren't, Dave, because that meeting was between Mr. Crosby and the Action Committee. The meeting that Sea Freeze supposed to have had would have been Friday morning, but unfortunately they didn't get that meeting.
So will Mr. Crosby still be coming to Burgeo?
Mr. Crosby made it clear that he will be coming to Burgeo at a later date.
Okay. Have you heard anything further on the situation with the in-cart applications?
In regards to the in-cart application, Dave, 10 minutes ago I received a fax from DFO on a list of people that will receive their in-cart applications next week in the mail. Now, there's also on this list a number of individuals which is under review, and it seems to me that those individuals are casual workers, and it looks like we're going to have to appeal their case because some of the casual workers didn't have exactly enough UIC stamps in 90 and 91. And the reason being for that is because it was a shortage of work. Those people were available for work, but due to a shortage of work, they just didn't get the qualified weeks. So we're going to have to appeal that, and we're in the process of doing that now. So once we get it set up, the appeals committee will travel to Burgeo, and the appeals will be aired in Burgeo. So hopefully we can get that on the go in the near future.
Okay, so have you heard anything further with respect to the early retirement package?
In regards to the early retirement, I mentioned it to Mr. Crosby in St. John's. I didn't get into any discussion onto it, but I did mention it to him. And the union have a letter sent off to Crosby as well, and hopefully this can be changed. I'm going to look on the positive side that this will be changed for Burgeo at least.
Okay, how's the education program going thus far?
As of 1st of March, the classes started, and I've talked to several people who attended those classes, and they're quite interested into it. They're more than pleased, the people that I've spoken to, and I think a lot of them ate to leave it at the end of the day. That's the impression that I'm getting from them anyway, so it seems to be doing very well, Dave.
Okay, Mayor McDonald, is there anything else you'd like to add?
The other thing I'd like to add is one people did receive their declaration forms. They also received a gray form. This gray form is supposed to be completed if and when your status changed. For example, if you're presently on a UIC claim, that claim expires and you got to apply a new claim if you got enough stamps. And there's obviously going to be a difference in your rate of pay, so you're supposed to complete and return this form. Or if your UIC is exhausted and you don't have enough stamps, then your income is stopped. So this form also has got to be completed and sent back to the DFO before they can determine what benefits you're entitled to. So I would encourage everyone who haven't returned that gray form is to do so as quick as possible, because that could be a problem in you receiving your benefits under the in card.
Okay, Mayor McDonald.
There's one other thing I'd like to mention, Dave, and I guess I got to mention this is over the last month, I guess I've taken on average, I'd say on average of 100 phone calls a day, and I just want some people out there is under the impression that myself probably and Owen Merson is getting paid for what we're doing. I just want to make clear to the people that that is not the case. Everything that I've done since I guess the 1st of February, because we were on the payroll once we were doing the workshops into the community center over the winter, myself and Mr. Cooper and Mr. Merson. Come the 1st of February, since that time it's been all volunteer, and I've spent many hours into the union office, day and night, and also at home, working on this in-cart for the employees, declaration forms and that, and I will continue to do so, because I'm a person that I've always done volunteer work all of my life, and I'm dedicated to helping people, and I will continue to do that. But I don't want anybody to be left with the impression that we're getting paid, and I think that impression is out in the community, and I just want to clear that up, Dave, that I am, at the present time, serving a waiting period like everybody else, and with no income, so I just want to clear that up.
Okay, Mayor McDonald, well, we'd like to thank you for speaking with us, and we look forward to hearing from you again once you hear back from Mr. Crosby's meeting with Mr. Braddock.
Okay, Dave. I'll look forward to that.
The operator of one of the highway's loaders found out how a favor can backfire. We'll add that right after this.
Ah, a cozy winter evening at home. And the cat by the fireplace. Maybe it's time to remind ourselves of a few inexpensive energy-efficient improvements like weather stripping, insulation, and caulking. Because the more efficiently you use household heating, the less of a strain it is on our environment, and that's a thought we can all warm up to. Let's be energetic about using energy efficiently.
The operator of one of the highway's loaders decided to give the Lions a hand by clearing the snow around the sides of the hockey rink. However, as you can see, this favor sort of backfired. I received a news tip this past week informing me that one of the Department of Highways loaders was off in the snow just clear of the hockey rink. So we decided to take our cameras and go up and check it out. When we arrived at the scene, the Department of Highways truck was out and workers were sizing up how to get the loader out of it. Shortly after we arrived, another Highways loader arrived to try to pull the other loader back on the road. Once a cable was secured to both the loaders, several attempts were made to get the loader back on the highway. Once the loader started to move, however, it didn't take very long to get it back on the road. Once the loader was back on the road, the chains were let go, and one of the operators drove the loader back into the pit, apparently undamaged. Due to the bad weather during Winter Carnival week, the Lions members decided to videotape the snow sculptures that were entered in the snow sculpturing contest. Here are the entries. Unfortunately, there were not a lot of entries for the snow sculpturing contest. However, those that did put in an entry put a lot of work into it, as you can tell by this one. This snow sculpture was entered by David Sims, apparently with the help of some of his friends. This is another one of the snow sculptures. It was entered by John Strickland on the beach. Another entry was by Eileen Warren, 1993 Winter Carnival. This is part of the entry by Rose Coley. This is the other part. Bert says, "Have fun." And this is the other entry. It's an entry by Max Pink. And this is another part of that same entry. Community events. The Lioness will be having a TV bingo on Wednesday. Cards are $1 each or 6 for $5 and are available in most stores around town. Please support the Lioness by playing TV bingo. BBS News Tips. The winner of our best news tip for the month of February was Scott Strickland. His news tip was the assemblies on AIDS held at the schools. If you have any news tips, please call or drop them off at the BBS office. The ACW will be having a potluck supper on March the 11th at the Parish Hall. The cost is $4 for adults or $3 for children. Supper starts at 5 p.m. We hope you will come out and support the ACW. Any casual laborer that doesn't qualify for the in-cart program, please call 886-2882, 886-2819, or 886-2914 as soon as possible. Well, that's it for tonight's program. On behalf of BBS and all the BBS volunteers, I'm Dave Cooper wishing you a great week. Good night.